I don't know about you guys, but I'm done. But does anyone have any more questions?
I'm just really curious about the whole phenomenon of The Secret and how many million, the movie The Secret, the book The Secret. You don't know about it?
Yeah, I know of it. I actually put the movie once on. I started getting dizzy, so I switched it off.
All that editing.
Yeah, it's just too frenetic, mental. Yeah, it's just so mental.
I mean, if this were a secret workshop, something tells me this whole hall would be filled.
Yes.
I'm just curious about, is it because it's about getting the stuff you want?
It's about getting the child the sweets that it wants.
Yeah.
That's what The Secret is. I will promise you, I know how to get your sweets. And the secret is, the people that are making the most money out of The Secret and have manifested the most abundance are the people that teach it for $10,000 a course. You know, or $1,000 for a weekend for a seminar. And to me, there's nothing there. Okay, it's the law of manipulation, I should rather call it, right? So, but I do see it as it was required. You see, everything that comes along is required. And when you go fishing, make sure you have bait that the fish will bite. When you go fishing, you must have the right bait, right? So what's the right bait? You know, because a lot of people that go into The Secret will realize that there's nothing there, but it will open other doors. It'll open other questions, and it has a purpose, right? It has a purpose. It'll have some purpose, but it's just well packaged stuff. You know, it's a very well packaged. And with something like that, it's big and it explodes, but it'll be gone. It won't last, because actually, if you do that stuff, you'll see that it doesn't really work. In fact, it's going to bring people to a sense of even deeper discomfort. You know, it's the same as allowing somebody to heal you, right? Allowing someone to heal you, that the idea that someone can come along and actually heal me, and that's done in the evangelical churches, right? And that is also done using the pathway of awareness, right? You set up the scene, like the whole scene is set up, the groovy stage and the altar and everything, and then you have the band in the corner like, Jesus, Jesus, hallelujah, right? All that's going on. And then once the physical is done, then the mental is done, you know. Jesus, and Jesus, and Jesus, and Jesus, until everyone gets emotionally worked up. And then the moment the emotions are running high, come on up for a healing, brother, all right? I can walk again. I just have to walk. Right? But that person who ran out of the wheelchair, go and see them a year later. They're back in the wheelchair, but now they don't have their faith. Right? And they've completely... So that's letting someone impact your emotional body for you, right? So the whole thing is, that's why this work is about, this work really is self-empowerment. This really is what self-empowerment is. And that's why it's challenging. It's very difficult in a world that wants to take care of all your needs and wants to actually take care of your own, become responsible for our own experience. It's very challenging, you know. So, and it's very challenging work to work because it means working with, because there's truth in all the scriptures, there is truth if you can see it. It's just that whether we're seeing it physically, mentally, emotionally. So when it says that we are born with sin, that is true. We're born with sin. Sin is the emotional signature that is passed from generation to generation to generation. The sin is inherited by the children from the parents. That's the emotional imprinting. It's not that you're a bad person and you're cursed to go to hell. It means you are born with a software program. And that software program is installed. And by the time you're 7, it's running. Right? And everyone on this earth faces the same predicament. Right? And the thing is now, do I go and get someone to save me from it? Save me from it? No, I don't want someone to save me from it. That's my goodies, right? I mean, if someone had come along to me 15 years ago and said, Michael, here we go. no more pain, all gone. Wow, I would have been robbed of everything, right? I would have been robbed of everything because someone tried to help me out, right? So I don't want any help. And the thing about responsibility is when we stop wanting help, because help is interference. We have everything we require. We have the keys to the kingdom. The keys to the kingdom are actually in the emotional body signature. And that's the funny thing about religion, especially like Christianity. Christianity makes you afraid of the keys to the kingdom. It goes like, you're a bad person. Don't go near that. That's because you're a bad person. Don't touch that. Don't. And then go into the path of suppressing and sedating and controlling and rules and all this stuff, right? And actually the keys to the kingdom are the fear, anger, and grief. That the nutrition in that awakens the capacity to realize the kingdom, right? So it's because when a religion takes things very physically or mentally, it's not possible to perceive what's really going on. It's just because as a species, a majority are really coming through and out of the mental now. But actually the truth is there. The truth is in the Hinduism, the truth is in Islam, the truth is in Christianity, the truth is in Buddhism, but it can only be seen or realized through the parameter of our own experience, not through someone else's experience. A big example of this was Carlos Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda went out and he had just like radical experiences, right? And so he wrote these books. And everyone went, I want to have that experience, right? Off I go, looking for a yucky Indian chief, right? I'm going to go eat some of this peyote and stuff, right? And no one had that experience. So they went, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. But he actually wasn't a fraud. That was his experience. And you can't have his experience. That's what that's saying is if you meet Buddha on the road, shoot him. Because he's going to be so radiant and beautiful, you're going to go, I want your experience. Well then, if you have Buddha's experience, who's going to have your experience, right? The whole thing is our experience is the key. Our experience is the key. Our experience is the gift given to us. It's the most sacred thing, my experience. That's why for me, blasphemy is simply the invalidation of the experience given to me. That's the only blasphemy there is. When I go, this shouldn't be happening to me. This should not be happening to me. It should be another way, right? The secret is blasphemy. It's going to result in blasphemy because it's going to say to you, you're not supposed to be in the house you're in. You can have the biggest house you want. You can have, this is an unlimited universe. You can rape the earth endlessly. Right? So that sort of thing, but if when we enter that, it will show us itself not to be true. And then therein is a teaching. And many will receive that teaching. And I'm sure many have gained from the secret by finding out that that's not the secret. Right? The real secret, which is available to everyone, is that being without condition brings everything we require. That's a powerful thing. I mean, when I really got that, when I was saying, wow, how can I bottle this? Look at being without condition. We're insane.
How can you sell what's already there?
Exactly. And that's what the secret is. How can you want what you already have? It's a beautiful thing.
Well, then maybe you can help me with this, because I started working with something like The Secret last year, and it was more about changing, I felt, my vibration, my emotions about things. And just to give you an example, very shortly after I started that, my husband decided to redo the house. And after living in this house, it was like falling apart for 7 years. All of a sudden, now I have a beautiful house. And, after having what is after complaining about my job for like 9 years, I finally started looking at like the good parts about it, and now I realize it's a really great job. So part of it does seem to work at a certain level, but it seems...
Yes, it does work. Now, for me, this is the difference, right? I'm not interested in someone dolling up my prison cell.
In what?
Someone dolling up my prison cell, and giving me... I'm not really interested in a more comfortable prison cell. I'm not interested. And because most of us, what we want is we want a fridge in the prison cell, and really lots of money in the prison cell, and very comfortable bed in the prison cell of our perceptual framework. And those sort of things can accomplish that. There are many ways on this planet, if you are prepared to do certain things, that you can have quite a comfortable prison cell. For me, that's not the point of my journey. My journey is that I want the key to the door. I want to walk out of this perceptual imprisoned, the thing that leads me to believe that I'm not in the kingdom right now. Right? So I'm interested in that. What really can accomplish that for me? What is that walk about? So yes, there are people that can use the law of attraction to get what they want. The teachers are doing that. They're earning a fortune. I'm sure they're living in big houses, driving beautiful cars. But the fact is, have they actually made any causal adjustment to their experience? Really? Or they've just got more stuff? Because I'm not interested in getting more stuff. That's not what this work is about. In fact, I have less stuff now, In fact, I'm figuring out in the next couple of weeks how to get rid of all my stuff that I already just got from stand. Because if you stand in one place too long, stuff comes, right? And I just go like, I don't need all that stuff. And so, to me, it's not about stuff. And yeah, we can. I'm sure that if I had been very sneaky in manipulation, I could have taken the person I was on the intimacy journey with and found a way to manipulate her into moving into a nice house with me so we could live together happily ever after under conditions that would make me feel happy and better about myself. I'm sure I could have done that. But that wasn't what the journey was about. The journey was about realizing what love really is, and I found out that the catch was that you had to let it go. You had to set it free so it could show you, because love is free. And so it's really about what is the intent here. So yes, there are many things that can bring us greater comfort and stuff. But often what I find is if I add comfort to my experience to fulfill my needs and wants, I kind of go to sleep. Right? And I didn't want to find someone to go to sleep with. I wanted to find someone to wake up with. It's a very different journey. But your journey, remember, so it's not to dismiss your journey. Your journey is as it's required. What's happening for you is what's required. That's what I'm saying. For people that got enamored by the secret, that's what's required for them. That's the whole nature of it. It's not something bad happening. That's what's required. For some people, the secret, you'll look at it and just go, this is just mental gibberish. For some people. Others will go, this has changed my life, right? This is the best thing I ever, right? The reality is there is no secret. It's so obvious. It's in front of our face all the time. And when we discover it, we can't market it. We can't do anything with it. It will dilute, and it's not meant to be sold on the stock exchange.
So when you just don't know what's happening and you just go with the truth that you're feeling, so it's like feeling the truth rather than thinking for the truth, and you're going along and then you feel the truth is to in this deep relationship that you're having. I'm talking about yours, that you're having, the one example that you came, and then so you felt, okay, the truth is what I'm feeling is the truth is that we need to go our separate ways. Not that it's over, but we can't live together. And
no, but that's what unfolds. It's not what I think is going to happen. It's what unfolds. It doesn't unfold because I think we.
No.
Right.
I'm saying that you didn't know that.
Yeah,
I mean, you're just going along with the truth,
right.
Feeling great. This is great. The
Yes.
deep love. Whoa, and then all of a sudden up comes the truth. Is that now we've got to go our separate ways as far as life form. And that hurt like, really
Hurt like hell.
Hurt like hell.
Hurt like hell. I was dying for like 3 weeks. Why? Right? Why can't I get my sweet?
And did you go through a thing like trying to look everywhere around? Did you? I mean,
Oh, I
maybe
tried
at
to-
this point-
unfortunately,
maybe at this point
yeah.
you wouldn't try to avoid it, like think, well,
No.
maybe this isn't. You know, try to deny it and all this.
Oh, I try to make it work out differently, but unfortunately I was someone who's still a little bit stronger, you see. So she really got it, and she was so impeccable with her integrity that she wouldn't die.
So she got the truth too.
Yeah, we both got it.
You
It
got
just
the
took
same
me a
truth.
while to like want to look at it, right? I don't
Right,
know.
but you both did. So it was both. You both knew the truth.
It
felt
shows
the truth.
itself. It shows itself.
And therefore,
There is no that truth. There is that truth in the moment. There is no that. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
The truth,
yes.
that's what you were when I say well, I guess we were feeling.
Don't be, just stay with your experience as it is. Don't try and use mine to figure yours out,
right.
Just stay with it. You may not have to leave your companion, it's not really, don't be, you see, this is the thing the thing about this work is this, there's 3 stories we can tell. And really, stories are not a problem. It's just that we tell such boring and ridiculous stories, right? But the story itself isn't the problem, because it really is about here to tell a story, right? So there's been some powerful stories, there's been some nasty stories. Hitler told a terrible story, right? Jesus told a cool story, people try to kill all the people who knew the story, but the story's still there, right? The Buddha told a great story. These are all stories, right? And there's some terrible stories, there's some wonderful stories, there's some fantastically inspirational stories, right? The Mayans have told us a phenomenal story. I wonder if we can really get with that story, right? So there's all sorts of stories going on. But there are 3 types of stories. And we'll end with this. There's 3 types of stories. There's the good story, the bad story, and the legend, right? And the bad story is this one. Oh, I had a bad childhood. Really, I just had such a poor start. I come from a poor neighborhood. I've never had much money. Life is suffering. Things are always against me. People don't like me. You've just got to earn a living even though you're alive. It's really hard. And that's the bad story, right? We all get to tell the bad story. We all have a point where we tell the bad story. The bad story is told by the physical, mental. When we are attached to the physical, mental part of our world, we tell the bad story. Then, once we start doing the emotional work, and we realize the emotional is the causal point, and we start integrating it, then we start to tell the good story, right? So the bad story for me is, oh, my father committed suicide, and I lost my mother, and, I was so afraid. I went through school an introvert. I never even lifted up my hand and spoke to a teacher in my entire schooling, and, I was just afraid of the world. Anything that I might love might be taken away, and so that's the bad story, right? Whatever that story is. Then I started doing the emotional work, right? And suddenly I awoke to the good story, and the good story is, oh, my father died so others may live. My mother went through the experience she went so that I would discover the presence process. I had this terrible pain for years so that I could enter my body and learn the mechanics of the emotional body, so that I could share this with other people. And now I've written books about it, and this is fantastic, right? That's the good story. But there's another story. But you first have to tell the bad story, then the good story. Right? Okay. Once you've done with the bad story and the good story, then you can tell the legend. And everyone has a legend, right? And it's like this. The legend is a story that if I told you my legend, you would go, oh, dude, you're a bit weird, right? This is science fiction, right? I don't believe in time travel, right? Whatever it is. Your legend is going to be so way out that it's best to keep it to yourself once you figure it out, right? It's best to just live it. Just live it, right? Because it looks like this. First of all, the bad story is this, right? I'm on this ledge, right? I'm right at the end of this ledge, and I'm going, oh, I'm so afraid. And while I'm on this ledge, I'm so angry, right? And I'm so afraid, and there's so much sadness being born on a ledge, right? And then when I start doing the emotional work and I can eventually stand up, like, stand on my own 2 feet and go, wow, you know, being on this ledge has made me come somehow stronger. It's helped me get my balance. Look. Right? But then there's another story, right? When I walk to the end of the ledge end, and I leap off, right? So your ledge end is when you leap off into the unknown. And you're not trying to fix anything anymore. You're not trying to understand anything anymore. You've realized that only other people die. You realize that you have no point of reference for not being alive. So let's just get on with it and live and see what happens, right? And diving off into the arms of the universe, because you know that whenever you've fallen into the arms of the universe consciously, it's always caught you. And living from that point of the unknown and going into your legend, then what story can you tell? If you can tell any story you like, as big as you like, I mean, what story would you tell, right? What story would you tell? And so for me, this journey, this past 7 years, has been about telling a really big story. It's a useful one, but a big one nevertheless, right? But now to jump off the ledge and fly off, and there's other stories to tell. Right? So I've told the good and I've told the bad, and there'll be other stories to tell. And in our own experience, we tell the bad story first, then we tell the good story, the emotional work. And then as the vibrational opens up to us, then we come to the end of the ledge and we begin the legend, right? We leap off into the unknown. With no fear, no anger, no grief. It's never about that. And being in this physical world, but with an awareness of the immortality of our condition. If you really, 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 really knew that you live forever, if you absolutely knew it, how different would your behavior be? I mean, what would you like? Would you still be trying to like save some money in the bank? Or, I mean, how different would you behave if you knew you lived forever? But you would have to absolutely know that for it to impact your behavior. Then there's a whole different life experience awaiting. That's where the kingdom begins and the boredom ends. Right? The boredom is only there because I'm waiting to die. You know? I'll just do this until I die. You know, when I'm died, it'll be over with. I'm going to be with this person, I know, but once I die, I don't have to be with him anymore. Right? That's the boredom, right? That's not the kingdom. Yeah. So thanks for coming all the way and let me tell my story. Thank you for coming.